Yeah. Well, thank you for this opportunity. And yeah, so I'm a life coach doing work with those with disabilities, predominantly those that have acquired brain injuries or a dual diagnosis. And I work with attorneys that, where these are estate attorneys that they have a trust fund, and so they're going to run out of money. So they will call me to say, hey, they have 3 to 5 more years. Can you assess them and find out, are they work ready, or how can we transition them and get them ready for, a world with independence, So I share things that are practical, things that are spiritual, things that are clinical, things that are rehabilitation, and not so much rehabilitation in substance use, although that is part of what I do as well. But when I say rehabilitation, I'm talking about like vocational rehabilitation or rehabilitating someone where they have a better quality of life. Yes, so I've had the opportunity to work with individuals that have had, that are working towards acting and playing, they're enhancing their music careers and their athletic careers. And so I like working with a team when people are, I have associates where there's an acting coach, and then they bring me in. I'm a life coach / I'm a therapist. So I just like to call myself as a friendship coach, and that just means that it's hard to make friends out there, and when you're trying to come up in the world in the entertainment space, and so it's just really hard, and so you don't know who you can really trust. But I come with nothing that I want. You're paying me. And so the reality is that my goal is my reputation and making sure that you are your best you. There are no guarantees. You have to do the work. But at the end of the day, my goal is not, you don't have to house me. You don't have to buy me a car. I'm not part of your entourage. I'm not part of someone you feel an obligation to. I'm somebody who is saying, let's figure out how to better yourself, or let's enhance what you have. Let's enhance the strengths that you have, and let's make your weaknesses into some strengths as well. So yeah, that's my forte. With my own relationships, lots of failures, epic failures. I give the great advice because I know exactly what not to do. I know what I failed on. Yeah. People come to me and I don't know what they get, Sometimes we can give better advice than we are at taking it. So I grow with my clientele. I grow with my patients. I grow. It's evolving. I mean, at the end of the day, when people say they're an expert, we are real life. I'm human first, and yeah, I'm human first. I'm having problems holding this recorder. Why am I holding it and not you? I did that Women Over 40 campaign for a couple of reasons. One, we were rebranding. We have a few businesses going on. We're trying to figure out which business is going to premiere first, and how are we going to rebrand me. So photographs were important. We knew that for the last year or year and a half, that it was going to be important. The other thing was the structure of how I do my platforms. I like being in my car. I like being at home. So it was, do you want to set up a stage? And I was like, no, I like the authenticity of me, So there's just a lot of things going on. So the campaign was just awesome. It came at the right time. talked to some people about it, got a chance to be interviewed by a fantastic photographer. Brooke Pierce is wonderful. Brooke Pierce photography is just wonderful. And she got to learn a little bit more about me, thought I'd make a great candidate for this, and I got selected as one of the women, the 40 women that would be an expose on. So it was really fun. It was a fun, exciting opportunity, and it gave me the opportunity to figure out which pictures we would use for rebranding. It also gave me an opportunity to feel beautiful and tell my story on that. So yeah, my name is Tanetta, but it says Olori. And Olori, I am part Nigerian from my father's bloodline. And as I was doing research and having people help me, we learned that my father's bloodline was royal. And so a big difference from where my father was here in the United States. And so because he struggled so much and not really knowing his identity to the fullest, it was exciting to be able to honor him. And you know, he just went through a lot and struggled so much and wanted so much for me. So it was just an honor to be able to say my father gave me a bloodline that was a royal descendant. And so Olori means queen or princess in Yoruba. I am not a queen. I'm a queen in my own right, but in my bloodline, I am a princess. And so when I am in Nigeria, some people do call me Olori, and so I like it. It may not be much. I'm not going to have money with my face on it or anything to that degree, but it honors my heritage, and I appreciate that. So, yeah. Yeah, I think with learning, know why you bring it back full circle to relationships. I think that what I've learned in relationships, whether they're intimate or family, friends, but I think we struggle mostly with intimate relationships because we throw away relationships easy now. It's not something that we don't work as hard as our ancestors. There's so much sensitivity to, I don't want to be oppressed. I don't want to be submissive. I don't want to be barefoot and pregnant from the women's perspective. I'm equal, and I get it. And then from the men, we should be equal. I don't want to be the provider. I need us to be 50-50, and so what my take is on these relationships and that I do honor and respect the past. People did stick together. We have this new world of internet, and so we can throw people away, and we don't often date the local people. We date the people from afar, and I am guilty of that as well. We date the people that aren't as accessible to us. We don't always date the people that are accessible to us. So it's easy to find. It's easy to say, I can find somebody in Spain. I can find somebody in Africa. I can find somebody in America, and so I think that when it comes to relationships, we can just throw people away. I've been thrown away. I'm sure I've thrown some people away. But when it comes to commitment, yeah. I just believe that you have to really give it all. We need to keep people out of our ears. We need to focus on what matters to us. For me, I'm a Christian, and so what matters to me is God, and what matters to me is biblical aspects of it. And so, the things you want most are some of the things that break your heart. or the beliefs, the values you have can sometimes conflict the life that you're actually living. And so so I think that, I don't know why you brought that to me. Wait. Yeah, so I believe like the forgiveness issue is we shouldn't be walked over. We shouldn't be used and abused. And I know that, women have liberated themselves and decided, they're going to take on some of the roles of when the men have hurt us. But honestly, we're just repeating the cycle. We're hurting the men are hurting us. Then move on to the next person. And the cycle just keeps repeating. I'm going to find the one, but we're not letting our guards down. We're sabotaging each other. I am guilty of feeling the trauma and sabotaging. So I think the first thing would be what I've learned is that you've got to heal. I'm not in agreement with how all of my partners in the clinical field heal, but we all have what we feel is our evidence base. I am a old schooler, so I do believe people should work through things. We are constantly telling our clients, no, you're worth so much more. And even when they're at fault, we're telling them, yeah, but don't be so hard on yourself. They're the same people that on the other side, when people are complaining about these type of people, we're going, you don't deserve that. So I believe there's a catch-22 to that. And so I like to work with forgiveness, and I like to work with people seeing, their own issues and working through them and learning how to regulate their own emotions and regulate their own. I've had to do those things. So my personal, you asked me about it personally. So personally, I believe that if someone has messed up in the relationship, hurt someone in the relationship, I believe that it's important that you listen and hear them out. I also believe that forgiveness is a choice. Love is a choice. Commitment is a choice. Loyalty is a choice. I just recently came across something that says you should receive as much as you pour out. We're not all equal like that. And so I always tell people, don't expect exactly what you give, but expect exactly what you need. So if somebody's not giving you what you need, it's not about, oh, they're not checking all my boxes, I need to leave. Have the discussion, find out, what their goals are. Their goals could be that they get it too and they want to change. And if they want to change, it's not you changing them. It's about you brought it up to their attention. And so these are compromises in which they're making because it's a desire. And, I'm totally on biblical principles. So it's my desire to please my husband. And so, yeah, I'm not bailing out just because something went wrong. Can I forgive the most thing that I think is horrific, my deal breaker? I don't know. I can't tell you my past. Some things, yeah. Other women would say, oh my gosh, you're a weak woman. Others would say you're a very strong woman. But at the end of the day, we get stuck on, and I know that I'm totally guilty of this, is we get stuck on, well, why? Why did you do that? Or, if you want your spouse back, and I'm really talking to the married people, honestly, committed relationships are great. But I am talking to those that are so committed because you've already decided to take that paperwork. And if you're in that space because you're so committed, you've been together for 20 years or whatever, touche, and you're not married. So these kind of relationships that are very committed, I don't care if you're a day married, they're going to upset you. You're going to upset them. You're going to yeah, You're going to frustrate them. You're going to annoy them. That's part of love. It actually is. I mean, you cannot be married to somebody for 30, 40, 50 years and expect that it's always perfect. And when people tell me it has always been perfect, I'm always thinking, I've interviewed enough older people to know that's not true. Or you have something to cover, or you don't share things with your family so they can't grow, because they don't know your flaws and they're trying to reach a standard that you have set for them that's not realistic, and they're fighting through it. But at the end of the day, I just feel like forgiveness isn't what it used to be. It's hard. It's tough. Our men are hurt and broken, just like our women are hurt and broken. This is a new generation of people. We're hurting each other. Sometimes we don't even realize it because we're stuck in our own hurt. We're stuck in our own trauma. And so I think people should work through things a lot. But stop asking the why. And I'm totally guilty of the whys. Stop asking the whys. One thing that I learned from my husband was there would be mistakes that I would make, and he wouldn't ask me the why. And for the longest, I just really couldn't understand, like, why isn't he asking me the why? Like, why wouldn't he want to know? But it causes more pain and more hurt, and there were times when I would ask him the why, and he would humble himself to talk to me about it. And then there were times when he just totally just shut it down, like, yeah, I'm not even going to appease her with any of this because I need her to grow, and so humbled enough now that I'm like, I get it, I get that part now. And it's hard, it's tough. We want answers, for lots of us. It's like, well, I want to know what I did so that I don't repeat it, right? And that's valid. That's totally valid. You should have those conversations, but not blaming yourself for something that they've done wrong. And you have to have enough grace and mercy. You want people to have it for you, but you don't want to do it for somebody else. So I think that it's important to be able to honor that grace, not make decisions before you honor that grace, so we make a lot of emotional decisions based on our hurt, our pain, our friends, our family, some of our therapists. I remember a therapist trying to get me to divorce a husband at some point. So, I don't know what else you want me to say. Sometimes the whys are just not important. So, sometimes it's more about the forgiveness than it is the why. If you want to be back with that person, the forgiveness is probably a great space. We think that if we understood why, it's going to stop it. You don't know how many stories that I hear. The whys haven't stopped anything. And like I said, not just intimate relationships, even like friendships or family members. You're asking for the why, and when they do something remotely similar to it, they can't trust you because you've gone off, you're hurt. It's more about, let's sit down and have a conversation so that we can figure out how we're going to get through it together. If the why comes up because they want to share it, make a safe space. You're allowed to cry, you're allowed to hurt. Maybe you're allowed to scream, but don't scream at them. Just scream because it hurts. And allow that person to hurt. If you've hurt them, you've hurt them. Right? So, it's more about the forgiveness than it is the why. It's more about the restart, the reset, than it is the why. And if you're a believer, I remember my husband always saying, he would say, my husband is Muslim, and he would say, trust Allah, Tanetta, trust Allah. Allah will get us through it. And I'm a devout Christian, and I would say, yeah, but I know I'm supposed to trust God, but I need answers, or I need a plan. Like, I can't function like this. And still part of me is who I am, but it's such a humbling experience to to watch him say, just trust God, to know to just trust God. Go in your prayer closet. Just trust him. The things that I think are impossible. And then he has to remind me of all the blessings that I have that were impossible, and God favored me. So yeah. Oh, I love being a mom. I just love it. I would have 13 more babies if God would give me more babies, biologically. Well, even your adopted babies, they're biologically, and there's a whole nother theory in that, where that comes from. But if I could have them physically, I would. I look very young, but I'm older, and I definitely make it my business to, check my body. Do I still have eggs? Do I still have this? Can I do this? Can I choose a surrogate? So yeah, I love being a mother. It is one of the greatest things that I've ever done, even in all my mistakes, and even in beating myself up with, man, did I do that right? I wouldn't give up motherhood for anything in the world. That is one of the things that my husband reminds me of. Go to God, because I was told that I could never have children, and what a blessing. That's like the ultimate blessing that was part of my life, and that I can say that was nobody but God. I mean, when I say, oh, you're not gonna have no children, yeah, you're not gonna have to. So I have four beautiful biological, came out of my body children. Boy, girl, 2 to 3 years apart. Exactly what I asked God for when I probably was like 15, 16 years old. I remember writing an essay about it, and God blessed me with exactly that. I seen the Josephine Baker story, and she had all these children, the rainbow children, like all these children from different backgrounds, and even when she was broke and they stayed in that mansion, she loved on those kids till she couldn't take care of them anymore. And I remember I was a child thinking, oh my gosh, I just want to love on some kids like that. I don't always get it right, but I give my heart. So yes, there are lots of them. There are lots of them, over 30. And, no, I'm not always close to all of them. They all have their lives. Some of them want to forget some of that. I've been a foster mom, an honorary mom, a step mom, a legal guardian, and I have my own 4 that God has helped me produce. And so, yeah, without fertility treatment, God did that for me. So yeah, I can't imagine my life any other space than being a mom. And a Gigi. Yeah, you can't call me grandma. No, I can't be grandma. I can be Gigi. Gigi Ma, But there's history behind it. I'm not going to go into it right now. But yeah, so, and somebody helped me with the rest of the naming of that. But at the end of the day, yeah, I'm not a glam grandma. So it's not that Gigi for that. I'm not a grandma. I'm not a... none of that. Maybe a gangster grandma. I'm their gracious gangster ma. I am Gigi Ma. Gracious and gangster. I think my best reason for living, some people have their purpose, and I do a series on your purpose. Excuse me. Oh yeah. I don't know. I think my best reason for living, or why I'm designed to live, is because God made me, and He made me this way. So for me, it's to constantly learn. I do consider myself an expert at life. And so what makes me an expert? How many times I've fallen and failed. I mean, you can't succeed at anything without failing. What makes me the expert is because it's where my passion lies. Just being there for somebody, motivating them, getting them going, showing them the aha of something they want to do that they were told that they couldn't do. I know what that feels like, to share my life experiences so that they know that I'm authentic, to talk about what I would have and could have, should have done differently. Maybe it could have changed. We don't know. This whole life is a big old mystery. And so when people ask me about different things, I said, I'm a therapist because it's a practice. We practice what we do. It's not necessarily 100% guaranteed. It's a practice. And so I love the practice. I love the clientele. I love being a life coach because it excites people. I love being a therapist because I'm there to help guide them through the way. I'm here to help educate them on what this diagnosis is, or what treatment really looks like, or why they should take it seriously, why medication works, or why it doesn't work, or understanding what symptoms are. And who cares if somebody told you couldn't do it? How come you can't? Let's find the alternative. No, you can't fly a plane, but guess what you can do? I think it's just a beautiful thing, the whole rehabilitation aspect of it. My degree is in that rehabilitation, so I really love just being able to just be there for clients, for patients, for friends, I love it. Do I get burnt out about it? Absolutely. Do I need time and space to just say, let me regroup, let me reset? Absolutely. I'm in that space right now as I am preparing for new things in this year and the years to come. But yeah, absolutely. That is my reason for living. Personally, not having to do with other people, just personally, my reason is just living. I mean, all of the things that I was told that I couldn't do, all of the obstacles that I went through, all of the times that I thought I didn't want to be here. I thought I wanted to unalive myself, and I am so grateful that I didn't. I am so grateful that I heard the Lord's voice. I am so grateful that my friends called me. I am so grateful that someone loved me enough to love me through it. I am just so grateful for life. So those are my reasons. So my advice to you would be, live your best life. Do it afraid. Live it afraid. Trust afraid. Don't put parameters on what you can and cannot do. Just live your life. Make new friends. Let go of things that aren't healthy. Don't get so caught up in the clinical aspects of things. Everybody is looking around, telling everybody you're bipolar, you've got borderline personality, you're a narcissist. Live life, enjoy life. Find what matters to you. Live your life based on your values. I always tell my children this: trust God. Respect God. Respect the people around you. And respect yourself. And in that order, whoever your higher being, your higher belief system is, that's first. The people around you, treat them the way you want to be treated. If you were standing on the outside, And everybody that you saw, you came into contact with, your bosses, your friends, your family, how would you talk to them if it was you standing there? And yeah, we could be really mean to ourselves. Let's be nice to ourselves. And sometimes we have more respect for the people around us. So, respect ourselves. So, in that order, God, the people around you, and yourself. That's the advice that I would give. That is the advice my children are raised on. And I think they're doing a pretty good job. So, yeah. So, thank you for allowing me to share this interview with you. Thank you for the opportunity. And are you still gonna remain anonymous? Are you going? Okay. So, all right. Well, take care of you.